So after Backlash was over, they announced WrestleMania for Las Vegas, actually, which we kind of had an idea about. That's been the word for a little while now. I know they were kind of leaning towards Minnesota, but I think between the cold weather in April and just a lot of different factors, they opted against it. And I think they can go there for Mania 41, or I'm sorry, 42. But for 41, they're going to Vegas, baby. They're taking the Double or Nothing route, which is where Double or Nothing will be a month later, actually, because they're holding Mania on Easter weekend, which is a first. They want to avoid you would know better than I would, the NBA Finals. Is that what it is? The Final Four, okay.
It's the NCAA Final Four, like March Madness.
Okay, and then that's fallen on Mania weekend the past few years, so they want to avoid that. I don't really think, again, you're more of a sports guy than I am. Do you think there's much of an overlap there to where that's a problem? Because Nick Khan was like, oh, we want to avoid that. I'm thinking, does that really matter, though? Like, people aren't going to go to Mania because of that.
No, I wouldn't say so. It's not the Super Bowl.
No, exactly. If it was the Super Bowl, then sure, but it's not. So I just think doing it later April, I'm not exactly high on. But that's what they're doing. And, your thoughts on Mania in Vegas. Returning to Vegas for the first time in 30-plus years.
I mean, I like it, but I also feel like Minnesota got gypped again. And, like, the whole weather thing, the stadium's in a fucking dome, and the weather doesn't matter. Like, it could be snowing a foot of snow outside. It's in a dome, so I don't love how Minnesota got stiffed again. And, like, they were just in, like, that part of the, like, LA is like fucking a 2-hour fucking flight from, like, not even.
Mm-hmm.
It's only an hour flight from Vegas. You're just there. So, I don't know. I understand they just went to Philly. I mean, it's not really near Minnesota. I guess you could kind of say it's the same thing, but I don't know. I think Minnesota got screwed a little bit. And also, like, they were just in Texas, so, like, that's close on the West Coast. So, I don't know. I think Minnesota kind of got gypped. Maybe they're trying to stick away from Minnesota right now because of the whole, like, Vince Brock stuff. Maybe they're like, oh, we'll give it another year to simmer out, and then we'll go to Minnesota. But, I mean, I'm fine with going to Vegas. Like I said, I just kind of feel bad for the Minnesota people because I feel like, not that they deserved it, but they kind of deserved it.
Yeah, I mean, this has been the talk now for, 5, 7, 10 years they were going to Minnesota, and they have yet to do it. I remember there being talks of them being in Minnesota for a Brock retirement match in, fucking 2018, probably before that. And they had just yet to do it. And, I mean, I don't really care personally, but for them, it does kind of suck. As long as they go there eventually, I think it's fine for WrestleMania. But did you see the report or the rumor from, I think Mike Coppinger, actually, our buddy from ESPN that we met in Nashville a few years ago? Because I saw the rumor, and I'm like, this can't be true. And I saw it was from him. I'm like, oh, that's, not exactly an unreliable source, so there might be something to this. Saying that the Saudi government might want WrestleMania or a Royal Rumble. Dude, absolutely no fucking thanks. I mean, if you want to take...
Give them the Rumble.
Oh, my God. If you want to take Backlash or some shit, sure, go ahead. But taking, any of the big four, maybe Survivor Series, but, SummerSlam, Rumble, or Mania... No thanks. No thanks.
I'll give him the Rumble. No shot to Mania.
I don't even want the Rumble there. I really don't.
Like, they already had the Royal Rumble.
Exactly. Well, I honestly forgot about it. I was doing a really good job of forgetting about that, and then you just reminded me, so thanks a lot for that.
It was bigger than the Royal Rumble was anyways. Why would they even want it? They already had a bigger one.
They already had Yokozuna's knockoff in the match, and Hornswoggle, and fucking Babatunde, and everyone else. So I gotta go back and watch that.
The problem is, like I said, I feel like there's a good chance they would get the Royal Rumble. I don't think they get Mania. That seems a little far-fetched. But I feel like the problem is they're paying so much money, it'd be hard for them to say no.
I know, but why?
I don't know, because it seems like now, the cities are bidding to, host.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it sounds like, at least. The cities are, bidding to have these events. They're paying to host the event. But, the Saudi shows, they're getting $50 million a show. So it's I doubt the United States cities are giving them that much. It might be a couple million, but not that much. So I hope it's not true. Like I said, they already got the Royal Rumble. They don't need another one. Maybe they can have the greatest WrestleMania. I don't fucking know. Maybe just do that, or greatest Backlash ever. I don't know. Greatest Elimination Chamber. Just throw greatest in front of it, slap the name on it, and then we'll move on. But, I mean, I think it would be a disservice to, like I said, even Survivor Series. Fuck, give them the Survivor Series. I don't even care at this point.
Yeah.
Also, circling back on what you said before, War Games should not be Survivor Series every year. It's starting to get tired already.
No, I agree, yeah. I agree. Now, give them Survivor Series.
Hey, don't stop the kids. It's November. Stop.
It's the Hell in the Cell issue all over again. No, I agree. Give them even Money in the Bank, for God's sakes. I don't know. They've already had Elimination Chamber. They're getting King of the Ring. What more do they want? Do you think they see these other crowds in other countries getting these shows? And I mean, the thing is, these other countries are getting these shows, but they're not getting the Big Four. I mean, the Big Four have remained in the United States this entire time, dude. And Nick Khan even said that might change, because I know Triple H was like, I got to talk to the London mayor. I mean, okay, maybe, but I think the London
yeah,
has...
I mean, depending on where it is, like Toronto, like, it is Canada, clearly,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's pretty close to the United States, so it's like, you're like a hop, skip, and a jump from Detroit to get there, so like, even that's like with Minnesota, it's like, okay, it's in the United States, but like, it's still right on the Canadian border, so like, you'd still get people from Canada, too, to go, but yeah, I would keep the Big Four. Like I said, maybe Survivor Series I'd peter out, just because, like I said, especially if they're going to slap the cage in it every year, you can bring that to Saudi Arabia, I don't really give a shit, but I think SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania should stay U.S., Canada, specifically.
Yeah, no thanks. I mean, listen, Saudi's gotten their fair share of shows. We get our shows. I know I sound spoiled, but like, you know, we need our shows. We need those shows, I think, just in the States. Not just, I'm not saying like, because I want to go. I'm just saying that from the standpoint of like, we got the greatest Royal Rumble and it was fucking terrible, so.
When was the last pay-per-view we had that was like in New England?
Pay-per-view or just Big Four or whatever?
Pay-per-view. I'm trying to even think. Was Backlash in Providence the last one?
No, I think
Survivor Series. Survivor Series.
Survivor Series.
What was that, 2022?
Yeah, but now that they've gotten so big with these international shows, the thing is that we would probably, I mean, that was a Big Four, but we've gotten to a point where all the B pay-per-views aren't even in the country. So when they do come to the country, they're going to go to like the Brooklyns, the Texases, that stuff, fucking Dallas or LA or Vegas, to where I don't think we're probably going to get another pay-per-view period for a long time, in my opinion anyway.
I'm malnourished. Give me one.
Like, I'm not complaining, but like, I think Boston would make sense. I think the days of them going to Providence to go into the fucking Dunkin' or whatever the hell it is now, the Amica Center, Amica Pavilion, whatever the hell it is. I think the days of that happening for like, they went there for Backlash 2 years ago. They were there for Backlash 15 years ago. They were also there for, you went to all the shows, Hell in the Cell and all this other sort of shit over the years, Armageddon. I think those days are done. Like, I don't see them coming back to Hartford for another pay-per-view, which is probably a blessing because we're not a great crowd. I don't think that's going to happen. They might go back to Boston. They probably will at some point. I think there's a likelier chance that AEW runs the TD Garden for a pay-per-view than WWE does in the foreseeable future. I feel like that's a safe bet.
I just feel like they're just gonna, like, eventually going to run out of foreign markets to run, though. That's a thing.
Unless they go back.
I
don't know.
Like, I get the model, but I also feel like it kind of like you're going to have all these smaller shows. It's not like the show in Berlin, like, that's a smaller venue. Same with Backlash, and what else are they doing? I don't know. They're doing something else there, too. I can't think of it on the top of my head. But, like, you're then taking all those people, like, I don't know, theoretically, you're taking all those people that could be going to Clash, like,
yeah,
because you're pulling from the same kind of group of, you're like, if you only had one show in Europe, then more people would likely go to it because it's the only show you're getting. You have 4 or 5 shows, and it's like, we don't have to go to that one because we can go to this one. So, I mean, I guess you could say the same thing in the United States, but I just also think it's just a bigger region.
Well, I also think it's going to come crashing down at some point. I'm not saying, like, to be pessimistic, but, like, I see all these ticket prices that they're selling for these shows, the international shows, and they're fucking ridiculous. Like, they even said Backlash, it's the highest grossing arena event in WWE history. How? There was 11,000 people. It's because they fucking gouged those tickets to no end. And they're probably, I think they're doing the same thing with Clash. So, at a certain point, you're right. They keep running Europe. A lot of the same people are going to be going to these shows. They're not going to be going to more than one show if these tickets are so expensive. So, let alone one, if not more than that. So, I think there's going to come a time where that happens.